Hello, my name is Mario Cordero, Executive Director of Port of Long Beach, and with me today I have CalSTA Secretary Toks Omishakin here. And Mr. Secretary, welcome to the Port of Long Beach. A few questions, if I may. Number one, a great milestone not only for the California ports, but for the state of California and your leadership with regard to funding California ports along with the governor. Describe to me how this is going to really help the Port of Long Beach in the various issues that we have in terms of moving forward.
Yeah, Director Cordero, excited to be back at the port. Thanks for hosting us today. It's a momentous day for ports in California, a momentous day for transportation, but more importantly for the people of California as well because of what this is going to mean. Before I answer your question, I think it's important to note that this PFIT program was the vision of Governor Newsom. When we had the supply chain challenge, 24 months ago, several months ago, he came up with the idea of how to short-term and long-term help ports and the supply chain in the state. And many kudos as well to our state legislature for approving the budget, $1.2 billion to help ports across the state. Look, what this is going to mean for the Port of Long Beach, the Port of LA, and the other 10 ports in California, essentially is number one, efficiency. This is going to mean that goods are going to be able to move more quickly through your ports and through the entire supply chain. That was the outlook that we had on this. Number two, the impact on communities surrounding the ports. There are several communities that surround the ports here in Long Beach and LA, and so cleaner air potentially, more improved environmental outcomes for them through these investment decisions. And third and final, I would say really, is jobs, economic growth. This is going to mean employment opportunity. It's going to create jobs for the existing labor market here, increasing that labor market. So it's an exciting day for you in getting this award, and for ports and transportation all across California.
Absolutely, a great day, and again, a great day not only for the ports of California, but for the state of California. Now, Mr. Secretary, how is this going to help now the state leveraging to get federal dollars, given that the state's committed now to fund the ports not only with regard to zero emission, but in terms of goods movement and infrastructure?
Significantly is the short answer. Look, this is a $1.2 billion program. The federal government has an annual program for ports and for freight investment that's a little over $600 million. With the state putting this kind of money towards ports here locally, stateside, when the federal government sees this, Secretary Buttigieg and President Biden and Vice President Harris, when they see what we're doing here in California, which should be not a lot of surprise because we're one of the busiest port complexes in the entire, this one is in the entire country, but of course all of our ports combined, the volume that they carry, I think it's going to mean well for us. It's going to put us in a more competitive status when you look at ports like the ports in Houston, the ports in Texas, the northeastern ports in New York, New Jersey, or Savannah in Georgia. This puts us in a stronger position against those ports in the country.
And my last question, Mr. Secretary.
Sure.
I just returned from London from the International Maritime Organization Environmental Committee meetings, and I could tell you the leadership that the state of California has shown with regard to climate change, reducing emissions, and our quest for zero emissions is internationally admired. How do you see this funding really elevating and continuing the sustainable development for the state of California, given the magnitude of the funding that we receive here from the governor's office and, of course, your office in terms of administrating these funds?
Yeah, this funding falls right in line with that vision that we've been implementing through the Newsom administration to be not only a national leader as it's related to reducing GHG, reducing emissions, but a global leader as well. And so this money is going to help fund everything from zero emission vehicles on port, on the port facility, to off port as well, to even the vessels that are going to be coming into this bay, into your harbor. So looking at the entire supply chain and figuring out how to decarbonize it, you guys looked at that with your SWIFT funding program that you saw. And we're helping to fund that to the tune of nearly $384 million specifically for your port. So this falls right in line with that goal to decarbonize the transportation sector and in particular ports. So it's an exciting period for us, and glad that from your trip in London that we continue to shine bright as we lead the world in our efforts to decarbonize all sectors, but in particular transportation.
Well, for sure, decarbonization was the main topic in London this week. And again, I like to say that, as you know, California is the fourth largest economy in the world. Our economy is very resilient. But not only that, in terms of what we've been able to do because of your leadership, the governor's leadership, and the state legislature, we've been able to do that, and at the same time, really focus on sustainable development, reducing emissions, and moving towards greenhouse gas reduction of 100% by 2050. Many people support that, so I think California is in the lead. So, Mr. Secretary, thank you so much for your time and your continued leadership in these areas.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Director Cordero. Congratulations again on the award, and congratulations to all the ports in California that are receiving awards today. Big momentous day for us in California. Thank you.
Well, that's it for the Port of Long Beach and the San Pedro Bay complex, so thank you so much again.